Have you ever paused for a moment amid the rush of everyday life, placed your hand on your chest and asked yourself, where is my body really heading? At 72, you might still take morning walks, cook your own meals, drive to the supermarket, and keep up with lively conversations with friends. But you might also find yourself slowing down, feeling your legs weaken, struggling with restless sleep, and at times just wanting to lie still. After 70, each passing year is more than just another number on paper. It's a trade-off. Another year of living well, living independently is a gift. And to earn that gift, your body has been working quietly harder than you realize. Sadly, most of us don't pay attention to its whispers until they turn into a loud scream from an emergency room, a sudden fall, or an unexpected diagnosis. I once heard a man in Portland named Harold say, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of living in a way that I'm no longer myself." That sentence stayed with me, because truly it's not just about living long. It's about living long while staying sharp, healthy, free, and meaningful. So how can you tell if you're on the right path? Geriatric doctors and longevity researchers around the world have spent decades trying to answer that question. And what they've found is surprising. Longevity isn't determined solely by your genes or medical history. It's shaped by your daily behaviors, those seemingly minor signs that turn out to be powerful predictors of your quality of life and your potential to live longer after 70. A handshake that's no longer firm, a step that's lost its steadiness, a night of broken sleep, a meal that no longer brings joy. These may not just be signs of aging. They might be messages from your body. I need you to notice, I need you to act. And the good news is, there's still time to change course. We can't control how long we will live, but we can choose how we live the rest of the time we have. We can keep postponing, or we can pause for just a minute to listen to what our body is telling us. In this series, I will share with you 7 scientifically proven signs that are closely tied to longevity, not based on feelings, but grounded in thousands of medical studies and real-life clinical observations. You'll learn why a person who walks fast at age 75 can live 10 years longer than someone who walks slowly, why hand grip strength can predict your ability to live independently, why the ability to stand on one leg for 10 seconds relates to brain health, and why eating habits, sleep, emotions, and relationships, things we often see as ordinary, are actually key factors in determining your quality of life in your later years. Stay with me until the end, because sometimes noticing just one sign, just one, can be a turning point. A small change, a simple action, can make a huge difference down the road. This article is not meant to scare you. It's to help you understand this. Your body is never silent. It's always speaking. The question is, are you listening? And if you've read this far, it means you've already started listening. In the next part, we'll dive into the first sign, walking speed, a simple yet incredibly powerful indicator that can predict how many more years you may live. Do you walk every day? Have you noticed yourself slowing down compared to last year? Leave a comment saying, I'm ready to listen to my body if you're joining me on this journey. I want to know where you are, so we can begin from there, together. Have you ever noticed yourself walking more slowly than before? Do you no longer cross the street as quickly as you did a few years ago? Have you started slowing down in the supermarket, needing to hold onto the cart or stopping halfway on your walk home to rest? If so, please don't dismiss it. According to researchers at the University of Pittsburgh, walking speed in older adults isn't just a reflection of physical fitness. It's a powerful biological indicator that predicts your chance of survival over the next 5 to 10 years, even more accurately than medical history or blood pressure. That's why in many nursing homes across the US, walking speed is a required routine assessment. Walking speed, though it may seem trivial, actually maps out your health. Leg muscle strength, blood circulation, brain coordination, joint flexibility, and neuromuscular function. Let me tell you about 2 men, Harold and Marvin, both 75 years old, living in the same neighborhood in Denver. Harold is an early riser. He walks for about 30 minutes every day around the nearby park. He doesn't lift weights or follow a strict diet, but he maintains a steady walking pace. His shoulders don't slump forward, his steps are strong and even. People often joke, Harold walks like he's late for something, even when he's not. Marvin, on the other hand, used to enjoy being active, but in recent years, he's started turning down evening walks. My legs get tired, he says. His wife shared that Marvin often stops midway to lean on a neighbor's fence and catch his breath. He gets short-winded and unsteady stepping over curbs. One time, he nearly fell crossing the street because the signal changed too fast. He couldn't keep up anymore. Medically, Harold is no healthier than Marvin. They both have high blood pressure, both go for regular checkups. But Harold keeps up his pace as part of his rhythm of life, while Marvin has started to fall out of that routine. And this difference, according to the American Geriatric Society, equates to a predicted life expectancy gap of 7 to 10 years. Why is that? Because when you start walking more slowly, it may be that your leg and thigh muscles are weakening. Circulation to your lower limbs is decreasing. Your heart is working harder to pump blood through your body. Your spine isn't supporting your weight as it once did. And your brain, which controls movement and coordination, isn't sending signals as quickly anymore. A person who walks quickly often still has an intact connection between their nervous system, muscles, and cardiovascular health. Walking slowly is not just old age, it's an early warning. It's your body sending a message. I'm getting weaker. I need your help. And the good news is this is one of the easiest signs to improve, if you know where to start. You don't have to become an athlete. You don't need to hit 10,000 steps a day. You just need to walk every day for 15 to 20 minutes at a moderate pace. Not fast, just consistent. Practice stepping over thresholds, climbing 5 stairs each day. Use light ankle weights, 2 kilometers, while watching TV. Slowly lift and lower your legs. Practice standing up and sitting down from a chair without armrests, 5 to 10 times daily. Bit by bit, you'll rebuild the leg strength, the foundation that keeps you steady in life. Statistically, an older adult who suffers a hip fracture from a fall is 3 to 5 times more likely to die within a year than someone who doesn't fall. And the number one cause of falls? Loss of leg strength and slow reaction speed while walking. As you can see, walking is not just getting from point A to point B. Point A to point B, it's a full body health check. It reflects whether you're still stable, still independent, still in control, and you absolutely can choose again, start again with your own 2 feet. If you have noticed yourself slowing down, needing support while walking, or feeling hesitant about crossing the street, don't ignore the sign. That's your body saying, I need you to walk with me. If you're experiencing this, leave a number 1 in the comments. I want to know you're here and listening to your body. In the next part, we'll explore sign number 2, grip strength. Are you still holding on to your life? One of the first things we learn as children is how to hold someone's hand. Your hand at that time is weak, but instinctive. You learn to grasp, to cling, to hold on, and to communicate emotion. But as we grow older, have you noticed? Those handholds begin to loosen. Not because you don't want to hold on anymore, but because you no longer have the strength to. Imagine trying to open a jar of jam. It used to be a simple task, but now you can't twist it open. You call for your kids or use a towel to get a better grip. It seems normal. Everyone gets weaker with age. But did you know? Grip strength is one of the strongest indicators of life expectancy. Researchers at the University of Michigan conducted a 25-year study tracking over 8,000 older adults. They found that individuals with weak grip strength had up to a 70% higher risk of early death than those with stronger hands, regardless of blood pressure, cholesterol, or even obesity. Why is that? Because grip strength isn't just about your hands. It's a reflection of your overall body strength, your nervous system, muscle mass, motor coordination, and metabolism. A weakening grip may signal muscle loss, slowed neurological function, and accelerated aging. Let me introduce you to George, a 78-year-old man living in Minnesota. He was once an engineer, his hands accustomed to handling technical pens, tightening bolts, and delivering firm handshakes to colleagues. After retiring, he joined senior fitness classes, and one of his favorite exercises was squeezing a tennis ball. It sounds simple, but he did it daily while watching the news, talking on the phone, or waiting for his morning coffee. His hands remained strong. He could still carry groceries, open peanut butter jars, and most importantly, he never needed help to open anything. Then there's Alan, and also 78, who ignored the signs. He began struggling to turn doorknobs, hold large water jugs, or balance while carrying objects. He figured it's just joint pain. But 2 years later, he fell while trying to grip a handrail going down the steps. His hand couldn't support his body weight, and the fall landed him in the hospital for 6 weeks. A doctor told him something he never forgot. Your body has been warning you for a long time, through your hands. You see, a handshake isn't just a social gesture, it's a biological marker. When your hands weaken, you begin to lose independence. You can't open a water bottle, can't hold a cooking pot, can't push yourself up after a fall, and soon you're forced to depend on others. The little things add up to a big impact, loss of control over your own life. The good news is you can regain hand strength. No expensive machines, no gym needed. Here are a few simple exercises you can start today. Squeeze a tennis ball or soft foam ball 20 times per hand, twice a day. Should a hand gripper be a cheap but highly effective tool? Carry shopping bags instead of relying solely on a cart, as long as it's safe. Push off from a chair using your hands. Hold for 3 seconds before standing up. Do light gardening. Pull weeds, water plants with a handheld watering can. You don't need much, just consistency. Like George, you'll be surprised. In just a few weeks, you'll twist open that old jam jar with ease. And more importantly, you'll feel yourself taking back control over your life. Try this. Tomorrow, shake someone's hand, a friend, a loved one, and notice it. Does your hand feel strong? Do you still feel confident? If not, that's your body saying, I'm getting weaker. Help me grow stronger again. And if you've ever found it hard to grip things, open jars, or if you simply feel weaker than last year, leave a number 2 in the comments. I want to know you're following along and how strong your desire is to keep holding on to your life. In the next part, we'll explore a surprising but incredibly important indicator. Your ability to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. Can you keep your balance with yourself? What if I told you that by simply standing on one leg for 10 seconds, you could know your risk of dying within the next 7 years? Would you try it? It sounds simple, but this is a test that's been used in numerous longevity studies in Japan, Brazil, the US, and other aging nations. Researchers found that people over 70 who couldn't balance on one leg for 10 seconds had more than double the risk of mortality compared to those who could. You might be wondering, what does balance have to do with how long I'll live? The answer lies in how your body functions. Balance is the result of complex coordination between your central nervous system, abdominal and leg muscles, vision, inner ear, and sensory receptors under your skin. When you stand on one leg, all these systems must work together seamlessly to keep you steady. And when any of these systems start to decline, whether due to nerve degeneration, muscle loss, or vestibular dysfunction, you'll find yourself losing balance, even if just for a few seconds. Linda, 71 from New Hampshire, is a prime example of someone who maintains good balance. She practices yoga 3 times a week at her local community center. Poses like tree pose or warrior 3 don't just make her flexible, they train her nervous system and body awareness. She once slipped on a wet kitchen floor, but thanks to quick reflexes, she stepped back and caught herself. She smiled. Yoga didn't just make me limber, it saved me from calling 911. Evelyn, also 71, never exercised much. She started noticing she wobbled when turning around, needed to hold on to the bed to get dressed, and always felt uneasy going downstairs without a railing. She once said, I can't do any exercise. Every time I stand on one leg, I tip like a mop in the wind. One winter morning, Evelyn stepped outside to fetch the paper, but slipped on ice. She fractured her hip. That fall marked the beginning of hospital stays, rehab, and eventually moving into a nursing facility, where she lost something more precious than anything: her independence. You see, falling isn't just a physical incident, it's a loss of autonomy. One moment of imbalance can change your life forever. According to the CDC, 1 in 4 Americans over 65 falls each year. Hundreds of thousands are hospitalized with serious injuries, especially hip fractures. Many never fully recover. So what can you do? First, test yourself. Stand next to a sturdy table or chair. Keep your back straight, eyes forward. Lift one foot slightly off the ground, bend the knee. Count to 10. Don't hold on to anything. If your foot touches down 10 seconds, treat it as a wake-up call. You don't need to be a yoga expert to improve your balance. Simple exercises can lead to noticeable improvement in just a few weeks. Stand on one leg twice a day, 10 seconds each side. Increase as you feel stronger. Walk in a straight line, heel to toe, like balancing on an imaginary beam. Practice tiptoe rises up and down slowly, 10 reps. Join gentle movement classes like Tai Chi, Qigong, or senior-friendly fitness. Also, make sure you have good vision, check your inner ear health if you often feel dizzy, and create a safer home environment. Avoid slippery rugs, cluttered walkways, or steep steps. Balance isn't something you lose because you're old. It's something you lose because you stop training it, and you can get it back bit by bit. Pay attention. If you find yourself needing to hold on while standing, wobbling when you turn, or tripping more easily than before, don't ignore it. Your body is saying, I need you to relearn control. If you've ever fallen or struggled to stay balanced, leave a number 3 in the comments. You are not alone, and you can change this, starting today. In the next part, we'll talk about sleep, where the body repairs itself and quietly warns you about your cognitive, cardiovascular, and recovery health. Have you ever laid in bed, eyes closed, but your mind simply wouldn't stop? Or woken up in the middle of the night for no clear reason and couldn't fall back asleep? Do you wake up in the morning without feeling truly rested? If so, your body is knocking on your door. Sleep is one of the most delicate and miraculous processes the human body performs. In the dark, when all sounds fade, your body begins a full-scale repair system, regenerating cells, strengthening memory, restoring immunity, balancing hormones, and cleansing toxins from the brain. And if you don't get enough sleep, this entire process gets disrupted. Studies from Harvard have shown that poor sleep after age 70 is closely linked to increased risks of memory loss, high blood pressure, stroke, and even depression. Worse still, shallow sleep leaves you fatigued during the day, lowers your focus, and significantly increases your risk of falling. Meet Philip, a 74-year-old man from Oregon. He's maintained the same routine for years. In bed before 10 p.m., no phone in the bedroom, a few pages of a paperback book, and a soft nightlight. He sleeps around 7 hours a night, consistently. He wakes early, drinks warm water, takes a slow morning walk around his neighborhood, and often says, "Every morning, I feel like I've been completely recharged." In contrast, Roger, the same age as Philip, goes to bed late watching TV or scrolling on his phone. He often wakes up at 2 or 3 a.m., tossing and turning for hours. Even when he falls back asleep, he wakes up groggy, with headaches, and easily irritated. "The more I sleep, the more tired I feel," he says. What Philip and Roger experience isn't just a feeling, it's the difference in deep sleep quality. The stage when your body releases growth hormones, repairs damage, and clears amyloid proteins from the brain, the same proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. Poor quality sleep, fragmented sleep, or consistently sleeping less than 5 hours a night shuts down this essential process. The brain doesn't get cleaned, the heart doesn't rest, the body doesn't recover. Many people believe insomnia is just a part of aging, but that's not true. Age may affect melatonin production, the hormone that regulates sleep. But chronic insomnia is a sign, not a sentence. It's your body telling you something is off in your circadian rhythm. If you often experience taking more than 30 minutes to fall asleep, waking up multiple times during the night, waking up too early and being unable to fall back asleep, daytime fatigue, poor memory, or irritability, then you shouldn't consider it normal. Instead, try listening to your body by adjusting. Set a fixed sleep-wake time every day, even on weekends. Avoid blue light from phones, TVs, and tablets at least 1 hour before bed. Avoid caffeine, alcohol, or large meals after 6 p.m. Get 15 minutes of morning sunlight daily to help naturally rebuild nighttime melatonin. Change your bed sheets regularly and keep your room quiet and cool. 60-67 degree F is ideal. Write in a journal or read a book instead of consuming stressful news before bed. And especially if you frequently have nightmares, wake up gasping, or suspect breathing pauses while asleep. See a doctor to check for sleep disorders like sleep apnea, a silent but serious condition common in older adults. You see, good sleep isn't just about feeling better in the morning, it's about living longer. People who sleep deeply and consistently, 0.57, 5 hours per night, have significantly higher longevity rates, and this is something entirely within your control. So tonight, instead of scrolling for 10 more minutes or watching one more episode, try turning the lights off a little earlier. Give your body the chance to recover. If you've ever struggled with sleep, or if you're going through nights that feel incomplete, leave a number 4 in the comments. I want to know where you're at, so we can figure out what needs to change together. In the next part, we'll explore a powerful but often overlooked sign: changes in appetite in the way you approach each meal. Because it's not just about eating, it's a reflection of your overall health and emotional well-being. When was the last time you truly looked forward to a meal? A meal that made you feel excited, joyful, genuinely hungry, not just eating to pass the time, not chewing a few bites out of habit, but eating to live and feeling alive. For many people over 70, appetite begins to fade. They skip breakfast, nibble on crackers instead of having a proper lunch, and in the evening say, "I'm not hungry." At first glance, this might seem normal, but behind that lack of hunger is a serious signal the body is trying to send. Multiple studies have shown that loss of appetite in older adults is one of the earliest signs of malnutrition, muscle loss, metabolic disorders, and even cognitive decline. More worryingly, most of us don't realize it until it's too late. Let me tell you about 2 women, Diane and Ruth, both 74, living in the same senior community in Ohio. Diane loves cooking. Even though she lives alone, she makes herself a proper lunch: vegetable soup, pan-seared salmon, and garlic sautéed greens. Her dinners are simpler: oatmeal or boiled eggs, but she always eats 3 meals a day. "I don't cook because I'm hungry," she says. "I cook because it reminds me I'm still here, still in charge of my life." Ruth, on the other hand, began skipping meals 2 years ago. It started after she lost her husband. "Eating alone just isn't enjoyable," she said. Her mornings became just coffee, lunch was a few dry crackers, and dinner was usually just milk or tea. She didn't notice she had lost over 12 pounds in 6 months, until she fainted in the bathroom from low blood sugar. Her doctor told her a cold but honest truth: your body doesn't have enough fuel to keep functioning normally. When you lose your appetite, your brain stops stimulating the taste buds. Hunger hormones like ghrelin decrease, and your digestion slows down. This can be due to mental health struggles, mild depression, hormonal shifts, or even early signs of liver, kidney, or brain function decline. You might notice you feel full too quickly, even after eating just a little. Food doesn't taste as good as it used to. You've lost interest in cooking. You're losing weight for no clear reason. You feel weak or tired even after a short walk. This condition doesn't just rob your body of energy. It leads to muscle loss, which makes arms and legs weaker, increases fall risk, and causes imbalance. It weakens your immune system, making you more vulnerable to infections, slower to heal, and constantly fatigued. More importantly, it slowly takes away your dignity and independence. But you are not powerless. Your appetite can be rekindled through small, simple, and effective steps. Eat smaller meals more often. Aim for 5-6 light meals a day instead of forcing 3 large ones. Choose foods that are easy to chew, easy to digest, and colorful. Vegetable soups, boiled eggs, avocados, oats, tender grilled fish, ripe bananas, steamed apples. Eat with others when possible. Invite a neighbor or eat while video chatting with loved ones. Play soft music during meals. It can actually stimulate appetite. Start with what you love. Don't be too scientific and ignore emotion. If you loved your mother's chicken soup, make it again. Or just start with that egg sandwich you used to enjoy. And most importantly, monitor your weight weekly. If you lose more than 5% of your body weight in 6 months without trying, treat it as a red flag. You might think eating less is a good thing, but after 70, eating well, regularly and thoughtfully, is more vital than dieting. Your body needs protein to preserve muscles, vitamins to support the nervous system, and energy to sustain basic life functions. So never underestimate a meal. It's an intimate conversation between you and yourself. If you've ever gone through a loss of appetite or found yourself no longer enjoying meals like you used to, leave a number 5 in the comments. I want to know where you're at so we can rediscover that hunger, not just in taste, but in spirit. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night just thinking about something small that happened yesterday? Have you ever felt your heart racing, not because of exertion, but because of fear over something that hasn't even happened yet? After 70, it's not heart disease or high blood pressure that chips away at your lifespan most dangerously. It's chronic stress, silent, persistent, and terrifyingly familiar. What's even more concerning is this. You might be so used to it, you no longer notice it. Meet Edward, 76, living in Arizona. He used to be a school principal. Now retired, he leads a life full of quiet energy. Every morning he meditates for 10 minutes, writes down 3 things he's grateful for, and takes a slow walk around the neighborhood. He tends to his little garden, raises orchids, and regularly chats with his neighbors. He lost his wife 5 years ago, a deep loss, but he chose to face it gently. I can't control what happens, but I can control how I respond. Norman, the same age, lives in a different reality. His TV is on all day, tuned to news. He constantly complains about politics, health, the weather. He doesn't allow himself to rest, saying, "Rest feels empty." Even when seeing friends, he mostly vents about frustrations. Over time, he developed chronic insomnia, high blood pressure, and irregular heart rhythms. His doctor gave him a warning. Your body is inflamed, and chronic stress is likely the cause. You see, stress isn't just a feeling, it's a biological response. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, a hormone that helps you survive short-term threats. But when cortisol stays high, day that controls memory, the start of your immune system creates silent inflammation in your blood vessels. Increase your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and stroke. Shrink the part of your brain that controls memory, the hippocampus, causes insomnia, depression, and anxiety. And here's what's most dangerous. Stress after 70 doesn't behave the same way it did in your 40s. Your body doesn't bounce back as easily. One sleepless night at 40 might be harmless, but after 70, a week of anxiety can leave you unable to focus, disrupt your heart rhythm, or even cause a complete breakdown. You may be living with chronic stress if you often feel tightness in your chest or shortness of breath. Forget small tasks, even though you used to have a sharp memory. Find yourself irritable or snapping at loved ones. Feel drained even when you've done nothing strenuous. Experience ongoing sadness or a sense that life feels meaningless. You don't need to accomplish great things after 70. You just need to feel peace in your own room and your own body. If you're struggling with stress, try these simple, evidence-based techniques. Practice 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Repeat 3 rounds each morning and night. Write a gratitude journal each evening. List 3 things you're thankful for, even if it's just the sunlight or a warm cup of tea. Disconnect from negative media. Turn off the TV after 30 minutes. Avoid upsetting news before bed. Engage your hands. Fold laundry, wipe at the table, tend to a plant. Give your mind a break from worry. Talk to someone every day. Not for deep conversation, just to ask, how are you today? And above all, don't keep everything inside. Older adults often say, I don't want to bother the kids. But silence isn't strength. Sharing doesn't make you weaker. It makes you more human. Stress won't disappear overnight, but you can learn how to live with it in a way that's gentle and healthy. If you've ever lived through prolonged worry, or if you're currently feeling a kind of mental exhaustion you can't quite explain, leave a number 6 in the comments. I want to know you're still here so we can walk together out of this quiet storm. At 40, we live for achievement. At 50, we live for responsibility. But after 70, what keeps a person standing every morning they wake up isn't money or reputation. It's relationships. And sadly, that's also what many people quietly lose day by day, week by week, without even realizing it. Science has confirmed loneliness after 70 is as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It doesn't just make people sad. It weakens the immune system, increases the risk of depression, accelerates cognitive decline, and raises mortality by up to 45%. It's no coincidence that in the world's blue zones, regions with the highest longevity, there's a common thread. The elderly live in the community. They talk, shop together, share meals, tell old stories. Not every day is joyful, but no day is lonely. Let me tell you about Grace, a 78-year-old woman living in Vermont. She lost her husband at 69 and her 2 children live in other states. But instead of retreating into solitude, Grace reached out. She joined a local library book club. Once a week, she sat with others to talk about books, tea, and sometimes marriage. She learned to use FaceTime to talk to her grandchildren. She started inviting neighbors over for light Sunday meals. She said, I'm not afraid of being alone, but I refuse to live in loneliness. Joan, also 78, once thrived in her community. But after her husband passed and her friends drifted away, she slowly closed off. I don't want to bother anyone, she'd say. She stopped calling, stopped answering, stopped going out. She lived in a lovely house, had everything she needed, except connection. She ate alone, drank tea alone, and sometimes she cried alone somewhat. When she was hospitalized for a urinary tract infection that went unnoticed too long, her doctor said the danger wasn't the bacteria, it was that no one was there to notice she was getting weaker. You see, long life means little if there's no one to share it with. A 5-minute phone call from a loved one may not change the world, but it can change an entire day. And if you're thinking, I have no one to connect with, I want you to remember this. Connection doesn't have to come from family. It can come from a neighbor, a new friend in a painting class, or an old friend you haven't called in 10 years. Connection doesn't ask you to open your whole life. It only asks for one sentence. Good morning. Or how are you today? You can try. Call an old friend, someone you once knew well but lost touch with. Join a small community group, a book club, a gentle exercise class, a painting group. Invite someone for tea or a light meal once a week. Volunteer at the library, a nursing home, or your place of worship. Write a letter to a relative. Sometimes words on paper can open a long-closed door. You don't have to change your whole life. You just have to open your heart for 5 minutes a day and let someone in. If you've ever felt lonely, longed for someone to talk to, or found the quiet in your afternoons too heavy, leave a number 7 in the comments. I want to know you're listening, and I'm here to remind you, you can still reconnect with the world. Now you know, walking speed reveals your overall strength. Grip strength reflects your muscle resilience and independence. Balance keeps you steady, physically and emotionally. Sleep is your natural recovery engine. Appetite shows your body still wants to live and be nourished. Managing stress helps you live longer without being worn down. And connection is the anchor that keeps you grounded in a meaningful life. And the best part is, you can improve each of these starting today. You don't need to do them all at once. Just pick one and begin gently. A short walk, a phone call, a home-cooked meal after weeks of skipping, one night of better sleep, a smile for someone you pass in the hallway. Aging isn't the final stretch, it's the final chapter. And you are not one else. Hold the pen to write it. If you've made it through all 7 parts with me, share in the comments. I choose to live long and live meaningfully. And if you know someone who might benefit from this, send it to them. Because the most meaningful journey is one we don't take alone. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you again in a version of yourself that's stronger, happier, and more connected than yesterday.